Chapter 1, The Arrival of Cyraxx. The first light of dawn spilled over the quaint town of Akron, tracing gentle fingers of golden warmth across the rugged terrain that cradled its boundaries. Flowers awakened, shaking off the dampness of the night. Life began its routine once more, birds chirping cheerfully as if to welcome the day. In the midst of this picturesque setting, on Quinton Lane, stood a house that had seen better days, its once white paint peeling under the relentless gaze of the sun. A moving truck rumbled down the street, old and weary, as it came to a halt in front of the decrepit home. The sound drew a few curious gazes from neighbors who were already out, tending to their gardens or sweeping the sidewalks. The gentle gossip that buzzed throughout the town was momentarily suspended, all eyes landing on the newcomer. From the driver's side, a figure emerged, silhouetted momentarily against the glare of the sun. Cyraxx stepped out, a tall man with a lean build and a presence that commanded attention. He wore a deep green jacket that seemed slightly too big for his thin frame, but his smile was immediate and genuine. It split his handsome face, revealing straight white teeth and dimples that deepened as he greeted the world around him. "Good morning. I'm Cyraxx," he called out cheerfully, waving at the onlookers. His voice resonated with warmth and friendliness, wrapping around the listeners like a comfortable shawl on a chilly evening. As he started unloading boxes from the truck, the townsfolk exchanged glances, their initial apprehension blooming into cautious intrigue. Mrs. Hastings, an elderly woman with silvery hair pulled into a neat bun, leaned closer to her husband, whose brow furrowed with suspicion. "Have you heard of him before?" she whispered, scrutinizing the stranger's movements. "I don't like the look of him." "Oh, don't be so judgmental, Mabel," he replied, though he too felt an uneasy tug at him. "He seems harmless enough. Just a guy moving in." Yet something about Cyraxx's steady gaze and the intensity of his affable demeanor made Gary Hastings hesitate. Cyraxx continued to unload his belongings, his hands briskly working with the efficiency of someone accustomed to shifting weight. A battered guitar emerged from the depths of the moving truck, its surface marred by years of travel but still shimmering with the promise of unsung melodies. A flicker of nostalgia passed through him as he recalled a time when music had echoed from his fingertips, filling spaces with joy rather than lingering silence. As he set the instrument down, a playful light danced in his eyes. He strummed a few soft chords, the sound filling the air like the whisper of an old ghost. The melodic notes captured the attention of the townsfolk even more. Children peeked from behind parents, drawn to the rhythm of his skilled fingers. Yet, amidst the warmth of the music, an undercurrent of tension danced just beneath an unvoiced scrutiny of who Cyraxx truly was. Waving away the prying eyes, he turned to face his new home, inhaling deeply as he took in the smell of fresh earth and blooming lilacs. There were memories here and hidden corners, shadows that whispered secrets of the past. He grinned to himself, imagining the possibilities this town could offer a fresh start, far removed from what had been. Shortly after, he noticed a young girl, no older than 8, standing timidly by the fence, her wide brown eyes fixed on him with curious wonder. "Are you a singer?" she finally asked, her voice small yet edged with hope. Cyraxx crouched down, inviting her closer with an encouraging nod. "I used to be. Want to hear a song?" He waved a hand toward the guitar, and at her enthusiastic nod, he plucked the strings again, this time weaving a cheerful tune. The lilting melody danced through the air, drawing more children from their hiding spots, laughing and clapping in delight. But behind the facade of laughter, shadows began to stir. Mrs. Hastings peered more intently, the puzzled frown on her face deepening. "There's something not quite right about him, Gary," she whispered, her voice strained with a conviction she could not quite articulate. "I can feel it." Gary brushed her off again, but he couldn't shake his own discomfort. Cyraxx, with his chiseled features and that charming smile, seemed a little too perfect, too polished. The man exuded charisma, but there was an intensity in his eyes that spoke of a deeper story, one that lay tangled in the shadows of his past, still waiting to emerge. Throughout the day, Cyraxx delved into arranging his new surroundings, his movements quick and precise as he transformed the house into a home, shedding pieces of himself into the new layers of paint and pillows thrown atop a battered couch. A faint echo of laughter wielded by a sound from before a time where mirth echoed freely beckoned him forward. Each stroke of the brush on the old wooden walls was an admission of hope, yet with every completed task, there lingered an whisper of the darkness he had left behind. Later that evening, as the sun settled beneath the horizon, painting the sky in hues of scarlet and indigo, Cyraxx stood outside on his porch, the first aesthetic victory of the night hanging heavy in the air. He watched as the stars began to sparkle, like millions of timid eyes peering down from the heavens. The town was settling into its nightly routine, a few homes flickering with the warm glow of lights, laughter drifting through open windows. As murmurs of suspicion ebbed and flowed around him, Cyraxx knew that while charm and cordiality cloaked him like an old friend, the truth was hidden deep, buried under layers of guilt and pain. Akron was ripe with stories, and he would soon learn that it housed its own darkness, entwined with the fears of the townsfolk. They were not the only ones with secrets, after all. With a soft strum of his guitar, he let the notes weave a spell of comfort and mystique that would reel them in. There would be time to confront the shadows, for now, he basked in the flickering glow of singularity, knowing that every anecdote fostered whispers. The chains of his past clink softly yet persistently in his mind, a reminder that the real narrative was only beginning. This is a compact chapter that sets the tone for the story while allowing room for more development as the narrative unfolds. If you would like me to expand on specific sections or dive deeper into character development or other aspects, just let me know. Chapter 2, The Community's Whisper. The sun dipped below the rooftops of Akron, casting long shadows that stretched across the cobblestone streets, mingling with the whispers of the townsfolk. As the night crept in, the air grew cool and filled with the scent of falling leaves, but the sense of unease had settled heavy like a fog over the town. At Harlow's Diner, a worn establishment with chrome decor and a neon sign flickering softly in the dusk, several locals congregated, coffee cups in hand, their voices hushed as they exchanged furtive glances. The waitress, a middle-aged woman named Bea, moved from table to table with practiced ease, absorbing the charged atmosphere. "Have you seen him?" murmured Ted Howell, a graying man with deep-set eyes who always sat in the corner booth. His voice was low, a wary tremor lacing each word. "Old Cyraxx up on Maple Street." "Yeah, he gives me the chills, I'll tell you that," replied Mabel, the town librarian, her spectacles slipping down her nose as she leaned in closer. "Always staring through his window like he's waiting for something, or someone." Another patron piped up, glancing toward the diner entrance as if expecting the man himself to walk in. "I heard he's not from around here. Moved in not long ago, and the kids say he's got a cellar that smells strange." They dared each other to sneak a peek, but nobody's been brave enough. The group shifted uncomfortably. Despite the warmth inside the diner, an unshakable chill settled over them, fueled by unfounded suspicions and the unknown. "You know, my grandson said he found a bunch of old books by that man. Some real dark stuff, if you catch my drift," continued Ted, his eyes narrowing. "Rumor has it he's into magic or something." "Magic? You mean like witchcraft?" Bea laughed nervously, but a hint of concern flickered in her eyes. The patrons hushed her laughter, the gravity of their conversation pressing heavier. "More like sorcery," Mabel clarified, her voice a whisper, fearful it might bring unwanted attention. "This town has its share of folklore. You all know the stories. Strange figures in the woods, curses on the families that left. What if Cyraxx is somehow tied to all that?" A shadow darkened the diner window just beyond the amber glow of the overhead lights. The room fell silent as the whisperers caught sight of the figure passing by, tall and stoic, clad in a long coat that flapped against the brisk wind. Cyraxx was making his way home, the streetlights limiting the visibility of his face, but the way he moved, almost glided, sent a shiver down Mabel's spine. "He's right out there," someone gasped, pointing surreptitiously while keeping their voices low. Fear prickled the air like a storm about to break. Ted shook his head, his voice low and resolute. "There's something off about him. We should keep our eyes open, share what we find. If he's hiding something, it's only a matter of time before it slips through the cracks." As the discussion deepened, drawing in more of the diner's patrons, the camaraderie among the townsfolk grew tangled with suspicion. Old grievances resurfaced, but so did shared fear.